Today we celebrate International Women's Day. It started in 1908 when 15,000 women marched in New York City for shorter hours, better pay and the right to vote. A year later, the Socialist Party of America declared the first National Women's Day. Clara Zetkin, a German activist, proposed making it an international event. Well, since then, on the 8th of March, women around the world have been celebrating, with events taking place globally, including marches, talks, concerts, exhibitions and debates. However, it is also a time to reflect on the ongoing fight for gender equality, not just in the workplace, but in all aspects of society. And someone who really knows an awful lot about fighting for women's equal rights is Pashtana Durrani, an Afghan human rights activist, and also you're the founder of LEARN Afghanistan, an organisation that provides girls' education throughout Afghanistan. It's bittersweet that on a day when we should be celebrating women internationally, we know the situation in Afghanistan is dire for girls getting education. What is the international community doing to support girls in Afghanistan, and what more could they be doing?
I mean, for now, the one thing that we are seeing is that they have been investigating whatever is happening to the women of Afghanistan and young girls of Afghanistan under the CEDAW law, and they have been consulting with Afghan civil society. So I think that's the first step in the right direction. And apart from that, they have been funding different initiatives. The one thing I do want to say is that I'm a little disappointed is that 3 years in, we still don't see that the country still think that they could remove the ban and somehow magically all schools will open. But the problem is that in reality, that is not happening. So more investment in innovation and more investment in other opportunities should have been focused on, which still most international communities reserved about or doesn't care about.
You have a number of schools that are running there. So just explain to us, how do you talk to the Taliban in order to encourage them to open up more schools? I know it's a terribly difficult balancing act.
I don't talk to the Taliban. I don't believe people who have burned schools or have haunted schools would be willing to even talk about it. So I don't waste my time on that. And also at the schools that I run, most of the time it's the leaders, it's the communities who reach out to us. We don't go to people and tell them to send their daughters to school. However, there are communities who hear us just like on platforms like yours and other local platforms, and then they think of it and then they reach out to us. Excuse me. And that's how we have been expanding in Afghanistan. That's how we run schools in Afghanistan.
Well, so you don't talk to the Taliban. You find that there's no point in doing so. So I just wonder, just in order to get those schools that you do have up and running, talking to local community leaders, you must have to get more support then in order to enable those few girls that are getting access to your schools to get that level of access.
You know, the fun thing about Afghanistan is if people trust you, and they will make sure that you're taken care of and your people are taken care of. So every community that reaches out to us, they make sure that the community, the teachers, the students that are introduced to us are safe. And if something happens, they are willing to stand up for them. So that's one of the foundational core that we have, that you have to protect your own for us to function efficiently. And yes, there are times and challenges where there have been things that have happened, but in most scenarios and cases, the communities do stand up by their people and protect them, and the young girls get to go to school.
And just, Pashtana, just tell us, when it comes to any schools that you potentially have had closed down, have you had resistance on the ground?
Oh, yeah, there was this one school which the province names I cannot take because it's very recent. And I remember there were like these investigations that were happening, and there was a lot of blame that was happening. So another person got in trouble because of the school. And I remember these 50 elders who have never been to school, they went and they literally sat there for days asking the current regime leaders in the province to let these people go because it's not their fault. And even if it's their fault, arresting people on schools, arresting people for teaching is not something that you should be doing. That's not something that will make you popular. I remember talking to one man, he was telling me, he's like, there's nothing been done wrong. Why are they arrested in the first place? So I think those are the sort of examples that we keep in mind when we move forward.
Pashtana, thank you so much for talking to us and just outlining the difficulties that you experience. Pashtana Durrani there, founder of LEARN Afghanistan, talking to us. Of course, a really difficult situation because, as we know, girls, especially older girls, not allowed to access education in Afghanistan. You're watching BBC News.